G'day all, I'm Paddy the Platypus, and welcome to my first deep dive into a series, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I don't know who this will reach, but I want to talk about why Burden Arm is broken and why it's making me as disappointed as I am. Before I jump into it, I want to say off the top, I'm not worried about if you liked or disliked the show. Enjoyment is subjective and changes person to person, but claiming it's good is where I'll stop you. Good and bad can be measured by standards. So I hope while watching this, my standards are clear and I'll use clips and examples as references to help prove what I'm saying. Feel free to call me out on if I get something wrong, but reference and use examples. And if I contradict myself, let me know, because I'm trying to be as consistent as possible throughout my videos. And with that being said, let's pop right into it, shall we? We open with Iron Man. Sam's getting dressed, then looks at the shield and puts it in its baggie. We get the voice of old Steve.
How does it feel? Like it's someone else's. It isn't.
Yeah, okay. Let's play the next line of that scene.
Thank you. I'll do my best.
Will you now? And we start strong. Sam getting briefed on the mission as they're there. This seems to be a reoccurring theme of the show. Don't tell anyone anything until the last minute. Also, was it hard to be allowed back into the military? You were a fugitive, remember? You must have signed the accords then if you're allowed back. Was that hard? Nah, we'll just brush over all of this. Anyway, we get told the criminal organisation LAF is targeting one of their captains, Captain Vassant, and they've lost contact with his plane.
We need you to make sure that LAF doesn't deliver on their threat.
Seems straightforward. Then Sam gets told,
Vassant's plane has already entered Tunisian airspace. U.S. military cannot be seen operating out there.
so his plane is already there? So you've already blown your cover? Or hasn't it been seen yet? I don't understand the stakes.
And Sam, this has to be subtle.
Subtle. Got it.
Get it? He said it has to be subtle and then doesn't do a subtle takeoff. Oh yeah, no, it's supposed to be funny because it's the opposite thing. So, Torres is on the ground keeping an eye on things and sends Sam intel. At the last fucking minute again. Send it to him while he's on the way. Anyway, they find the plane. Sam then asks if there's any sign of LAF. Torres says no, and Sam pokes his head over the plane's cockpit window, sees a dead pilot, and realises the plane has already been hijacked. Are you dumb? It's a stealth mission. That wasn't very stealthy of you now, was it? You also have X-ray vision. You could have used that, rather than nearly compromise your mission. Lucky Batroc didn't believe that pilot. Sam now uses his X-ray vision. Geez, that wouldn't have been handy a minute ago. Anyway, we see Batroc Zalipa, and he has Captain Vassant tied up. Bird gets Red Wing to cut through the flying plane, unbeknownst to those inside. Convenient. Then Sam does a cool entrance and kicks someone. So now, all of these guys have guns, yeah? They point them at Sam. Then they make sure to come as close as possible so they can get disarmed. Now last I checked, guns work really well from a distance. So why move towards Sam, pointing said guns and not firing? This is called closing the distance, where people with guns go close to their targets so they can be disarmed. Usually because the director wants a hand-to-hand fight, and if there's guns around, it's hard to justify not using them. Anyway, now one guy starts shooting at him when it's convenient for Sam to block the gunfire, and the bullets are ricocheting off his wings? Now I'm no expert, but they wouldn't be ricocheting off hitting metal straight on.
It looks like the lead bullet shattered, and the high-speed replay confirms their consternation.
And, let's say they did, they'd be really wobbly in the air and wouldn't have enough pace to come flying straight back at the speed that they are. And Jesus, that's lucky it didn't bounce straight back at the guy firing the gun, considering how hard it would be to predict how they're miraculously bouncing back.
The lead bullet shattered.
Wouldn't the guy shooting stop shooting once he realised what was happening? Oh, and the pilot gets shot by one of these bouncy bullets? No. But I guess we need stakes. So now the plane is going down. Oh no. But autopilot. Oh, nice work, show. Minor complaint, but why was that all super dramatic just to fix it 10 seconds later? Just a strange mood shift. Anyway, Batroc Zalipa comes in with a large leap, and the boys go ham on each other. Bird hits the deck, and Batroc and his men all chuck wingsuits on to jump out of the plane. Wait a second, what? How? Where have they all come from? Sam just knocked them all out, except for Batroc, and now they're all ready to jump. Fuck's sake. So they jump out, taking Vasant with them, and Sam does a quick summy as he follows. As they're falling, the gliders start shooting at Sam. They seem pretty skilled in these things, but Sam gets underneath one and he parachutes him off. So one down. We see that these blokes are bloody good gliders. Sam nearly axes himself a couple of times, and he has a thruster. These guys are just gliding. 2 choppers come in and start shooting at Bird, and he tells Redwing to get rid of one of them, and it just takes it out, killing the pilots. Bird grapples one of the guys out of the other one and kills him. Then Redwing starts shooting at the other one and takes it down as well, killing whoever was in it. Okay, so Redwing, shoot these guys I'm desperately chasing, except the one with Vasant, because obviously I don't have a problem killing people. Luckily we cut away to show these helicopters crashing, because now we can cut back to the gliders who have somehow increased in altitude dramatically. That's pretty impressive. Oh, and hats off to the bloke who sacrificed himself by throwing himself at Bird just to slow him down for a moment.
What you say? Oh, that you only meant.
If we get to the border, he's not gonna follow.
Oh, in case you missed that at the start, we'll repeat it again.
What's up?
Sam, what the fuck, my guy? Why did you just stop to make that entrance? You could have killed them all and grabbed the hostage in the time it would have taken you to land in the helicopter, stop and say that. And how did they not hear you? Your wings do make noise when they close. This is a classic example of throwing humour in where it doesn't fit. Sure, you might find it funny, but it ruins Sam's character's self-awareness, where he's getting his thruster shot and lost the hostage due to him stopping to do a funny. Anyway, he just blows this helicopter up, no sweat, killing whoever was in there. And we see his thrusters have malfunctioned due to being shot, maybe.
Heads up, you're about to fly into Libyan airspace, and I assume they have a problem with that.
Sam, you were told this before you jumped out of the plane.
Yeah, a big problem, a big problem.
Great dialogue.
How long I got? 90 seconds?
And another chopper emerges. Bird keeps getting missiles shot at him, but he dodges them all.
Oh shit, he's outnumbered.
Torres, have your eyes been shut this whole time, you wombat? He's been outnumbered the whole time, only now are you looking up? So, now you'll do something? Well, I guess that's good. Looking forward to seeing what you can do to help. The missiles keep chasing Sam, and yet another helicopter gets blown up. Torres gets worried and tells Bird to call it off. They can find another way. Then the thrusters get rerouted, which just makes sense, I guess. It's things like this that just comes across as lazy writing and doesn't have as much of an impact on the viewer as it could. Did you know that he could reroute the thrusters? Were you aware that that was an option he had? But they just say it and move along. If there was mention of him doing this in the past, it would have made sense, showing the writer has worked on having a satisfying resolution here. But just saying it works with nothing hinting that it's possible in the past makes you question what his wings can and can't do. Now we don't know whether it can be broken, or can he always just reroute the power when he needs? Why should we be invested and worry for this character if there's the possibility that the writer will just write it so he'll be fine? Anyway, Sam flies through the helicopter, which I'm no physicist, so I guess I'll leave that one, that's fine. But why was the helicopter pointed that direction? They're trying to get away from Sam and get to the border, yet you're facing perpendicular to the direction you want to go. Seems like you've organised it this way so Bird could do that cool move. Anyway, we get another leap from Batroc as yet another helicopter gets blown up. They make it just in time before the border and Torres is happy, after doing nothing. Now to Tunisia. Sam and Torres are sitting down having tea and Torres tries to step in to help with the thruster. Sam tells him to stop.
I've been working with the Air Force for 6 months now. Every time Ops touches him, he gets all glitchy.
So we get some idea as to how far after Endgame this takes place and what he's been doing for work. And Sam likes to fix his own stuff. I like it.
Yeah, those poor techs can't keep up with 1 billion returning IP addresses and your sick-ass Stark level tech.
I'll take that one for later. They get thanked for saving that bloke's wife. That's nice. Then Torres is filming or something and gets a flag smasher symbol pop up on his phone. That's easy to come across these guys. I wonder if you use this method while trying to track them later. He says that he's been stumbling onto their manifestos on message boards. It's that easy, huh? Shouldn't be hard to ever track them down.
They call themselves the Flag Smashers.
Was that a new thing? Bad guys give themselves bad names?
Now that's a good use of humour. Although I didn't find it all that funny. It feels natural, poking some fun, and doesn't undermine stakes. Anyway, Torres says the Flag Smashers think that the world was better during the blip.
Trust me, it wasn't.
Trust me, every time something gets better for one group, it gets worse for another.
Okay.
Essentially, these people, they want a world that's unified without borders. So you can see why a lot of people are into that.
Can you? Can you say that? Is that just straightforward for you in your head?
But keep an eye on it. If anything gets serious, you let me know.
Good, Sam. Smart. You just heard about these people and what they believe. Could be a bunch of crazy people. Good one to keep an eye out for. Torres then talks crazy conspiracies about Steve.
Some people, they think that he's in the secret base on the moon.
I like it. Makes sense because people in the real world come up with crazy conspiracy theories like this. However, I think this is added because the writers don't actually know what's going on with Steve and what he could potentially do in the MCU going forward. So he technically could be. Sam gets up to leave, and when asked where to, he says,
Moon stuff.
Yeah, I like it. We go to Washington for Sam's speech about Steve.
He represented the best in all of us.
And we see Rhodey. Makes sense.
The world has
We
been
get his
forever
Captain
changed.
Context
A few months ago,
speech, telling everyone
billions
about
of
everything
people
they already know.
reappeared
But
after 5 years away.
Now, looking at the next part of the speech, I'll be playing some clips. Take whatever meaning you will from them.
We need new heroes. Ones suited for the times we're in. Symbols are nothing without the women and men that give them meaning. And this thing, I don't know if there's ever been a greater symbol, but it's more about the man who propped it up, and he's gone. So today we honor Steve's legacy, but also we look to the future. Thank you, Captain America, but this belongs to you.
And focusing on that last line of the speech seems kind of like a backflip on your last movie.
How does it feel? Like it's someone else's. It isn't. Thank you. I'll do my best. Thank you, Captain America, but this belongs to you.
He did it, Jon Snow.
I don't want it.
He then gets thanked for giving up the shield, and Rhodey asks to chat. They walk and talk, just catching up, and then Rhodey is the audience in asking,
So you're gonna make me ask? Why didn't you take up the mantle?
When Steve first told me about the shield, the first words I said were, it feels like it belongs to someone else.
Yeah, mate, and again, I'll remind you of what your words were after that.
I'll do my best.
So obviously meaning you'll put it in a museum. Just what he would have wanted, hey mate? They talk some more just about Steve and the state of the world. Then we cut to the Bucky flashback scene, where he was on a mission as the Winter Soldier. Again, there are moments when people have guns and don't shoot or start moving towards him. A big thing they love to do in this show. Also a bit annoying that the young fella can't get the key in the door, but I've never been in a situation like this, so it's fine. I'd probably be shitting myself as well. However, let's look back to what we were told about the Winter Soldier in The Winter Soldier.
Most of the intelligence community doesn't believe he exists. The ones that do call him the Winter Soldier.
So he's a ghost story.
Like you said, he's a ghost story.
Doesn't seem so secretive in this scene. Seems very overt with what he's doing. Not trying to hide his tracks, making a scene, you could say. This scene alone would have been enough to prove his existence. So, I wonder how many other times he did something like this.
He's credited with over 24 assassinations in the last 50 years.
He shoots his kid and wakes up on the floor in a sweat, showing he's finding it hard to live a normal life. And cut to him with his therapist.
Are you still having nightmares?
No.
I like this, how he's trying to internalise his PTSD. Seems fitting enough for his character to try and hide what's going on.
We've been doing this long enough that I can tell when you're lying. With your history, the government needs to know that you're not gonna...
hunch. So the government is concerned about him, yet they allow him to walk the streets. I feel if they really were concerned about him, they at least wouldn't allow him to have this weapon as an arm.
It's a condition of your pardon.
He got a pardon? Pardon? Why? You just mentioned the concern there is towards him, and they're kind enough to give him a pardon considering his history. They don't sound too concerned then.
I crossed the name off the list of my amends yesterday.
So, on to the scene of him crossing a name off the list. The person he crossed off was Senator Atwood, a pawn for Hydra. While Bucky was the Winter Soldier, he helped her get into office, and after Hydra fell, she continued to abuse her power given to her by him. So, off goes Bucky to rewrite his wrongs. Rule 1, can't do anything illegal. Rule 2, no one gets hurt. And Rule 3, announce who he is, who he was, and how he's trying to rewrite his wrongs. Now, I understand the point of showing that scene while learning about his rules was to understand that he wasn't doing the rules exactly. Hacking into a car, slightly illegal, and doing some pretty serious damage to that guy's wrist and knocking him out, that's kinda hurting people. So, what is achieved by showing he was doing it wrong? Oh, so it'll probably be a payoff at the end that because he wasn't doing it properly, he'll realise that he has to do it again but correctly in order to release some of the weight off his shoulders. Yeah, that'll be it surely. This wouldn't have been for a joke, seeing Bucky being all silly, right? Also, the therapist doesn't know what actually happened. He tells the therapist who it was. She would have heard on the news or read about the incident. When arrested, Senator Atwood would have told the police that James Bucky Barnes did this. Why was there no follow-up? Oh, it's meant to be a joke. There's no need to spend heaps of time breaking it down. Oh, it's meant to be a joke. Yeah, well, I'm going to spend as much time as I want breaking down whatever I want, especially if it doesn't make sense in the world, breaks characters, or ruins the moments in storytelling. So, more about Bucky and how he's closed off, and not sure how he fits in. Ignoring Sam's texts, and only having calls to the psychiatrist all week. Then, they touch on something that I was really looking forward to seeing more of in this show.
You're 100 years old, you have no history.
Alright, give me a break. I'm trying, okay? This is new for me. I didn't have a moment to deal with anything, you know? I had a little calm in Wakanda. And other than that, I just went from one fight to another for 90 years.
So, now that you've stopped fighting, what do you want?
Peace.
Then he gets told,
That is utter bullshit.
You gotta be shitting me.
You're a terrible shrink.
I don't think it is, love. Did you see how sad he was? You of all people should probably know that's what he wants. But hey, I ain't no psych. Anyway, he gets told not to shut himself off and that he's free now, which, according to you just earlier, he's not. The government is keeping a close eye on him, and the Sokovia Accords are a thing. Unless they take his arm away from him, and he doesn't go around being a vigilante. But whatever, show says so, so that's what we're going with, I guess.
Hey.
We then go to Bucky and an old guy, Mr. Yori Nakajima, at a rubbish bin. Yori is fighting with a guy for putting his rubbish in his bin. Sorts it out and asks him if they're still going to lunch. Yori says he doesn't want to go, but says he'll pay. Yori agrees, but says,
Fine, but no talking.
Cut to Yori talking. Then, person who's not a person, but a plot device, serves them lunch. Yori suggests,
You should ask her out.
He says no, so he does it for him. His uncomfortableness is great. Him talking about having to dance into these things, reminding us that he hasn't dated since
1943. Feels like.
Yuri then talks about his dead son, and the show subtly implies that it was the kid that killed in the flashback. Although this scene does just come out of nowhere, I like the idea of a scene not being super in your face. It's just there to get you thinking. So it would have been better if it was weaved into conversation in a more natural and clever way. So if you missed it, it would be cool to rewatch that scene, knowing the outcome and seeing the little hint early on. A bit of good old-fashioned setup and payoff.
Why have you got your stab vest on? It's a requirement.
Fuck off, grasshopper.
I thought you was a goner.
But he talks too long, and it feels like way too much exposition just to drop at lunch.
He was working for a company, and he was killed. police, sir. I will never know what really happened. I felt it was strange. In here.
But, okay, as long as they don't keep going on about it later, that's fine. We now get to Sam, going to his sister and nephews in Louisiana. The nephews call him Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam!
Okay, then his sister literally says,
That's right. Uncle Sam.
while giving him a quick salute. Now we see their boat. Their fucking boat.
Just needs to float long enough for me to sell it.
Why do you want to sell it? Wouldn't it be your main source of income as a fisherman? Or fisherwoman? As a catcher of fish?
I thought we were going to discuss if we were selling it.
Now that the world is going back to normal, this thing's gotta go.
What do you mean? What has the snap got to do with selling a fucking boat? Did boat prices fall as people were dusted? If you're so desperate for money, then sell it when you can.
You know the situation we're in.
Financial situation? You're there sorting fish while talking about selling your boat. Would the boat not be helpful for catching more fish to sell?
Well, what if we don't have to sell it?
Can I talk to you?
But the conversation gets interrupted because everyone loves Sam.
What's good, Big Sam? Oh, what's going on, man? I'm trying to live like you, bro. No. Off to save the world again? No, come on, Carlos. You know I'm around here more than you, man.
They keep talking about the selling of the boat, and Sarah says,
The boat's gotta go. I'm doing everything I can to keep this business afloat. And every day I'm making 5 and spending 10.
keeping the fishing business afloat? A fucking fishing boat might be handy, love. Sam offers to help, but she doesn't want it. Okay.
But you tangled the house into this when you took those loans.
So she's gotten a loan in the past. What'd she do with that money? So Sam brings up money.
What if you had money to fix it up? Make it nice so you can charter it when you're not out working the water.
So if this isn't the boat you're using to go work the waters, why bother worrying about it? Are you spending the 10 on this boat? If not, why worry? Your brother's a fucking superhero. If it's money you need, then he can help out.
We can take a loan and consolidate everything.
Yes, of course you can take out a loan. Sarah says she's already tried, but had no luck. Was it because you didn't pay back the last loan? When did you get the last one? Why can't you get another one now? Nope, nothing, moving on.
Yeah, but now you have me.
Anyway, now with Sam here, there's no way you will get denied. Sam will organise the appointment and he's here to help. So they're planning on taking a loan. The reason for this is so they have money. Keep that in mind for about 4 hours into this series.
Well, let's get some dinner. I'm hungry.
I just find the way that he says that so bloody funny. Back to Bucky, and he arrives to the date with flowers. Cute, nice touch.
Well, if that's not the most adorably old-fashioned thing anyone's ever done.
This is the sort of thing I wanted more of. An old man and a young body from a different time, coming to terms with the world he's in now. More of this, please. So they chat about dating as she's cleaning up.
Try the whole online dating thing. It's pretty crazy. A lot of weird pictures.
Sound like my dad. Wait, how old are you?
106.
And they both laugh. No, seriously, how old are you? Oh, wait, no, she doesn't ask that. Instead, she asks,
What's up with your gloves?
What? Lady? Do you not actually want to know how old he is? Were you hoping for the funny answer with no intention of the truth?
I, have, poor circulation.
Let's play a game.
Oh, my goodness, girl. What are you? You're all over the shop. I do like Bucky being uneasy with the mechanical arm. Another cool thing. Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm reading your mind.
Please don't.
And that facial expression, the disappointment, the sadness, another great little detail, because he knows it's not a mind you'd particularly want to look into. Props to Sebastian Stan.
E8, sucker.
Hit.
Hold on. Does the prop department know how to play battleships? As you can see, her ship is on her left, close to the bottom, with 1 hit mark on it. Bucky has 3 hit marks on where that ship would be. That means you sunk her battleship? Oh, and Bucky, see how your destroyer has both spots hit? That means it's sunk. You can take it off the board when that happens. Okay. Just a nitpick, whatever.
Are you close with your parents?
I was. They, passed away.
Again, a taste of what the show could have been. That distant look he has, reflecting on who he was before he was the Winter Soldier.
I think it's really sweet you're spending time with Yori. It's been hard for him since his son died.
Okay, lady, what a weird fucking tangent.
I think not knowing how it happened is the hardest part for him.
Huh, yeah. We're doing a subtle, yeah.
No, there's no word for someone whose kids die.
Bruh.
Because it's like the worst thing that can happen.
So in case you didn't realise, Bucky killed his son, you know, in that flashback, the one at the start of the episode. Well, if you didn't, we better show Bucky walk out and go to Mr. Nakajima's house, where he has a shrine right fucking there as you open the door. But we won't stop there. No, we're going to zoom right in onto the photo, so just in case you missed all the subtle hints, you can see his face. So now there's no excuse not to understand. He also covers up his spontaneous visit with, I forgot I owed you for lunch. Wait, wasn't the whole reason he agreed to have lunch with you because you said you'd pay? So either he forgot that arrangement and paid for his own food, or did you pay and now you're just giving him more money? Which personally I think warrants this confusion from Yori. But anyway, I should just move on. Also, Bucky's book has Why Nakajima, because hey, that was his son that we saw him kill in that flashback. So he's here to make amends with him now because he feels really bad, and he does. Sam and Sarah getting ready for the appointment with the bank and getting food ready for the people in the town.
I did the research. I ran the numbers.
You really think this is gonna work?
I know it will.
Yes, I know it will as well. We'll get there. So back to Taurus as he's tracked down some flag smashers. He just needs an app. Bruh, it's super easy to join terrorist groups in the MCU. And with a whistle, it's free masks with Rego. And moments later, we get an alarm. Glass breaks and a guy jumps out of the 3rd story of the building. Torres just saw how casual this bloke who jumped out of the building was. Should cause some concern, the fact that both of his ankles are still intact. Anyway, building jumper offloads his bags of money onto 2 others, then protects one of his guys. He then kicks someone so hard they fly into a pole. Great way to reveal you're not an average person, buddy.
So I don't know how jurisdiction works here, but I don't have to place you under arrest.
Wow, mate. Hey, just letting you know, I don't know if I'm legally allowed to arrest you here, but you're under arrest. Not only was that a fucking dumb thing to say, but you just saw how powerful this bloke is. Maybe don't try and take him down alone. Oof, that's gotta hurt. So, Iron Ankles now realises this guy who works for some sort of legal authority knows about their little shindig, so knocks him out and that's it? Didn't question him. Didn't just outright kill him so he can't go around telling other people about this. Seems a little convenient for our heroes. But now, we can move on to the loan scene.
Do I know you from somewhere? I knew it, Falcon! Yes! I always wanted to be an Avenger.
Making it all friendly before the devastating, impossible news.
It's a dream come true, you know? Like keeping my family's business afloat.
Subtle. The bank teller asks, how does he make a living? Was this some kind of fund for heroes? Or did Stark pay you when he was around?
No, it doesn't really work like that.
Oh, wow. Tony, the billionaire, didn't pay at all. His inheritance had nothing to go towards any of the Avengers, or even just the Avengers program, to help fund them.
In the case of an untimely death.
Okay, making Tony out to be a bit of a cock, but alright.
Tremendous amount of goodwill, and people are inclined to help.
But you couldn't have been living off of goodwill this whole time.
Very true. That would be near impossible.
You have no income over the last 5 years.
Okay. So, Sam has money. There's no way he wouldn't. He was in the Air Force. He would have been paid. Because that's a job last time I checked. Where has that money gone? Now he's been back working for the Air Force for 6 months, as you stated at the start of the episode. Getting paid? A lot of banks will give you a loan if you've had a steady income for 6 months. And there are even some that will give out loans if there's 3 months of steady income. So have you just been volunteering at the Air Force for the last 6 months? Then, there's no way Tony didn't pay you any money. And let's say he didn't, because fuck legacy characters in the MCU. Pepper would have paid.
I mean, not the amount, the size. The amount's nice, too. They're very generous pepper pots.
She'd be out helping the Avengers wherever she can. Helping fund them after Tony is gone. Because she doesn't need the money. At least not all of it. She's got her candle business. Torres also mentioned that Sam has Stark level tech earlier. So, Tony gifted him this super impressive accessory, but no money? And Sam also signed the Sokovia Accords. Therefore, you work for the government. And have now been for a good while. And last time I checked, you get paid for that. So, hey Sam, you said you've been working for the Air Force for the last 6 months. You did say that just earlier. Yeah, earlier this episode. Do you want to bring that up, do you?
I have government contracts, so that's proof of earnings, and I know for a fact that we qualify for an SBA loan.
He did it! Good boy.
Under the old terms. Sure, but these days, what with everyone just showing up, well, things tighten up.
Fuck off. This is just the show. It wants them to have money problems, so boom.
Under the old terms. Sure, but...
Funny how things always tighten around us.
What are you implying there, Sarah?
Mrs. Wilson.
Ms. I'm a widow.
We cannot approve you.
Fuck's sake. Whatever. Let's keep moving with this shit show.
I knew they weren't gonna help us. It's not their job.
Well, it kind of is.
You don't know what happened these last 5 years.
Sam couldn't control that. Oh shit, now I'm standing up for Sam.
Well. How the turntables?
Yeah, well, half the boat's mine, and so is the house. We're not selling our family's legacy.
We see a bit of handyman Sam, but the boat won't start, and he looks at old photos. Sam then gets a message from Torres, saying to call on a secure line, and sends a photo of his beaten up face.
I thought you were supposed to be monitoring them online.
Yes, watch from a distance until you're able to take them down with reinforcements.
Sometimes you gotta get your hands dirty, or a broken orbital.
No, just no. You could have gone there, gotten all the footage you need from a distance. Like, mate, you're military. You've been trained to be smarter than this.
Bro, they went dark as soon as it was all over. We just gotta keep our eyes and ears to the ground until they pop up again.
Sam has an idea of what this guy could be, and when Torres asks, he quickly shuts it down.
Look, I'll circle back to you. Let's keep this between me and you.
Sam, I'm sorry, did you just say let's keep this between me and you? Are you daft? Why would you not tell anyone about this? This is a terrorist group. Why do you want to keep it to yourselves? I think, just an idea, this is something the government might like to know about. And hell, if the government were told about this group, maybe they could, I don't know, lend a helping hand, potentially stop them early on.
Oh my God, Sam, you better look at this.
Wow, impeccable timing.
While we love heroes who put their lives on the line to defend Earth, we also need a hero to defend this country.
We need a real person who embodies America's greatest values.
We need someone to inspire us again. Someone who can be a symbol for all of us. So, on behalf of the Department of Defense and our Commander-in-Chief, it is with great honor that we announce here today that the United States of America has a new hero. Join me in welcoming
your new Captain America.
And the evil music plays, the shots of him in slow motion and look on Sam's face. You know they're setting up a, huge air quotes, bad guy.
Duh.
And so, with that introduction and a charming little wink to the camera, we are given the best thing to come out of this show, Chad America. But we'll get to him later. I feel like I might need a disclaimer at the end of each video, so this'll probably be it. I can't stress this enough. If you enjoy the show, I'm honestly happy for you. I wish I did. But if you've heard my criticism and analysis, and then you try and tell me that the show is good without referencing or maybe correcting something I've gotten wrong, I'm not even going to listen or really pay attention. Like and dislike is completely subjective. Good and bad, however, are claims that can be proven by standards. I believe my standards are quite obvious in my arguments, so if I'm seen to contradict myself or get something wrong, which, look, I probably have in any of my videos, please let me know and I'll be happy to point out it was a mistake. If you like the video, let me know. Still experimenting and trying to find my feet. Apart from that, I guess I'll see you in the next episode. Uru, catch you later.